Okay, some people wanted to know how I use a Avet what is it? A Avet EXW30, which is well, this one is 3-speed, so well, it doesn't really matter if it's a single speed or yeah, 2-speed one. Yeah, this is a 3-speed one anyway. As you can see, here, can you see it? I put some holes in the spool. In Japan, it's also called spool blanking. This allows the spool to be lighter than the original spool. So what happens is when the spool spins, it creates the inertia. So to prevent the backlash, which is really annoying for you guys, well, for me as well sometimes, you need to reduce the weight of the spool, so it gets easier to control the spool speed. Okay, let me show you how I normally cast. Before you cast really hard, make sure your thumb is wet, and also the line is, the line is wet, so it doesn't create the heat. Okay. This is how I cast. Well, sorry, it's a bit noisy because it doesn't have the anti-reverse bearing and stuff. It only has the dogs, so it makes this really loud mechanical noise. So I've got 30 meters of braided leader, which is actually, I don't remember really, but it says 330 pounds test, or I don't know, test or class, or and I used a PR knot here, as you can see. And yeah, the reason why I put this long, like, look at this, 30 meters of braided leader. The reason is because, you know, when the fish goes, you know, behind or like underneath some sort of rocky places, and you know, if you use just a mono really soft leaders, they just get cut easily. But if you use a braided leader, they're much stronger than just a mono leader. Even though I use a how many pounds? Oh, this bit here is about 450 pound nylon mono leader. Well, this is just a testing lure, so it's just a Shimano orca. Same as the other video that I posted about a week ago, you still need to level wind here with your thumb. But when you get used to it, it's not really that hard, actually. See? No backlash. And you still get this much distance, which is about, I don't know, I didn't really cast that hard, so, well, it's still about 40 meters, because the line is really straight, and yeah, the braided leader is out there. Well, it's now here, but The braided leader that I'm using now is a Spectra or Dyneema or something, but the PE material. Some people use, especially in Japan, because this kind of fishing setup is getting more common. But some people, well actually most of Japanese really hardcore fishermen, they use Sea Hunter line instead. I have used Sea Hunter lines, but they are strong enough, and yeah, it's really good. But there's only one. Oops, sorry. There's one thing that I don't like about the lines. It's because it just sinks down so fast, whereas this PE material, it just floats on the water. So I got about 50 meters now. If I cast really hard, but not with this rod because this is quite short, I don't know, 7.7 or 7.8 or 7.9, I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, if I use 8.6 or something like that, I mean when I say 8.6, that means 8 feet 6 inches. Yeah, if I use slightly longer rod, then I can definitely get about 70 or even 70 plus, because this rod is also really stiff. This is a GT rod. Well, I made this because it was meant for spinning setup. Well, it doesn't really matter, but I think I forgot to put a sticker on. Yeah, I normally put a sticker that says the maximum weight of the lure and yeah, the maximum drag and those things. I remember said 250 grams of the max lure weight, and this lure that I'm using here is about 120, probably slightly more than that, because I put this well, I actually put two, but I put these single hooks. They're quite heavy. One weighs about 11 grams, so yeah, they're quite heavy. I guess 130 or maybe close to even 140. But still, this is not heavy enough to bend the rod. So I think this is more for popping, because see, when the lure dives in, it doesn't even bend that much. I guess this is great for GT fishing or kingfish or something that, you know, has really strong, well, torque. People say torque, but it's not really torque, it's just the power, right? Whoops. Sometimes you need to concentrate on casting each cast if you use this big conventional reel or bait caster or multiplier. But yeah, not that hard. Oh, this can be just used for fishing. See, some people say I'm crazy, or you know, you don't want to have that huge tackle for just a GT or I don't know. But in fact, this setup, well, the lure itself, I mean, sorry, the reel itself is 1.5 kilograms, which is pretty heavy. You know, even the Stella 30,000 weighs just slightly less than a kilo. So yeah, for sure, this reel is really heavy, but when you use it, probably you don't want to use it all day, but when you use, you know, for the prime time of the day, you know, well, if you're a fisherman, then I bet you know what I'm talking about, then it's not too bad actually. And I made this rod as light as possible by just handmade. Yeah, you can reduce, well, you can reduce the number of guides by just making it spiral, because this part here is just a normal spinning rod guide spacing, but here it kind of blends into the conventional rod setup. I mean rod spacing. I mean guide spacing. Sorry. So yeah, this is how I cast. I used to think the bigger the reel gets, the harder it gets to control. But in fact, it always depends on the weight, always the weight of the spool compared to, you know, I mean the weight of the spool for the spool size. So what's extremely hard is actually having extremely small spool with a lot of weight on it. Like, well, that doesn't exist, but some people think the smaller the spool gets, the easier to control. Nah, it's not. It's not true, because the weight for the size of the spool is still the same. You know what I mean? Because the bigger the spool gets, slower the spool spins, right? So slower means you don't need to, you know, use your thumb to brake on the spool. Okay, this is it.